Welcome to this space of truth, wisdom, and awakening. This channel exists to remind you that the answers you seek are not outside you. They are already within. Life is filled with signs, directions, and quiet guidance, yet only a few seem able to hear them clearly. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to move through life almost effortlessly? Their choices guide them into the right places at the right time, and opportunities seem to align with their path. Meanwhile, others stumble into repeated disappointments, confusion, and broken trust. The difference rarely comes down to luck, intelligence, or chance. Instead, it comes down to one invisible but powerful gift: discernment. Discernment is more than just a thought process. It is the spiritual ability to see beyond the surface, to read between the lines of life, and to recognize truth even when it is hidden or uncomfortable. It is the quiet yet powerful shield that protects you from deception, illusions, and traps designed to drain your energy. It is the guiding compass of the chosen ones, the light that helps them navigate through darkness. Today, we are going to explore why discernment may be the greatest power a chosen one can ever develop. We will uncover how it works, why it matters, and what you can do to strengthen this life-changing gift. What is discernment? Discernment is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is not about being suspicious of everything or living in fear. Discernment is clarity. It is the inner ability to sense what is real and what is false. It is knowing when someone's words do not match their actions, when an opportunity carries hidden traps, or when a decision that looks good on the surface would actually bring harm in the long run. Think about it. How many times have you ignored the quiet inner nudge that said, "This doesn't feel right," only to regret it later? And how many times have you followed that subtle voice within and avoided pain, loss, or disappointment? That inner voice is discernment. Discernment goes deeper than knowledge. Knowledge comes from information. Discernment comes from wisdom. Knowledge can be taught, but discernment must be developed through awareness, humility, and openness. Why most people lack discernment? If discernment is so valuable, why doesn't everyone have it? The truth is that our world is filled with noise, distractions, pressures, influences, and manipulations that cloud inner vision. From a young age, people are taught what to think, who to trust, and what to follow. Media, culture, and even relationships often condition us to accept things at face value instead of questioning them. But discernment works differently. Discernment questions everything. It asks, does this align with truth, or is it just appearance? Does this resonate with my spirit, or am I being pressured to accept it? Am I making this decision out of clarity or out of impulse, fear, or desire? Most people fail to develop discernment because they confuse it with suspicion or doubt. But suspicion is rooted in fear. Discernment is rooted in clarity. Another reason people lack discernment is the ego. The ego clings to beliefs, convinces us we already know everything, and resists change. True discernment requires humility, the willingness to unlearn, to admit mistakes, and to see reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. The ego protects pride, but discernment protects truth. A second barrier is emotion. Strong emotions, anger, fear, desperation, or anxiety can cloud judgment. When emotions take over, the quiet signals of discernment are drowned out. That is why one of the first steps in building discernment is learning to notice emotions without letting them control decisions. Ask yourself, is this choice coming from clarity, Or am I reacting out of impulse? Discernment is not about living emotionless. It is about balancing emotion with awareness. Discernment versus intuition. Many confuse discernment with intuition. While they are connected, they are not the same. Intuition is the quick sense you feel in your spirit. Discernment is the process of testing, confirming, and sharpening that intuition to ensure it is not simply desire or fear speaking. Sometimes we want something so badly that we convince ourselves it is a sign, but desire can disguise itself as guidance. True discernment separates genuine intuition from wishful thinking. If your so-called intuition repeatedly leads to regret or confusion, it may not be intuition at all. It may be desire pretending to be truth. Discernment helps you filter intuition, making sure your choices are aligned with reality and wisdom, not just longing or impulse. Why discernment is the greatest power of a chosen one. Chosen ones, those set apart for a higher calling, are given discernment as their greatest shield. Why? Because deception is everywhere. The world is full of false opportunities, misleading appearances, and people who wear masks. Without discernment, even the chosen can fall into traps, waste time in draining relationships, or walk down paths that look promising but lead to destruction. Discernment allows the chosen one to read the hidden intentions behind words, recognize manipulation before it takes hold, sense the energy of a person, place, or situation, avoid cycles of repeated mistakes, walk with clarity even when surrounded by confusion. Sometimes, the greatest danger does not come from obvious enemies, but from those disguised as friends, advisors, or even spiritual leaders. Discernment helps you catch the small signals, a word that feels off, a tone that reveals insincerity, or an action that does not match the claim. For the chosen one, discernment is Sir. It is protection. It is freedom. The loneliness of discernment. One reality of discernment is that it can feel isolating. When you begin to see clearly, you realize not everyone around you sees the same way. People who are comfortable with your naivety may feel threatened by your clarity. Some relationships naturally fade because they were built on illusions you no longer accept. This season of isolation can feel painful, but it is not punishment. It is preparation. Solitude becomes the place where discernment strengthens. In that silence, you learn to trust your inner compass without constantly seeking validation from others. Over time, life aligns you with people whose spirit resonates with your own clarity. How to strengthen discernment? Discernment is like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it grows. Here are key ways to build it. Practice conscious observation. Pay attention to tone, body language, and subtle energy shifts. Most traps can be avoided by noticing the earliest signs. Create inner silence. A noisy mind cannot hear subtle truths. Take daily moments of stillness through meditation, prayer, or reflection to sharpen your awareness. Question everything. Ask where information comes from and whether it aligns with your inner truth. Do not simply repeat what you have been told. Watch for patterns. Life often speaks through repetition. If the same mistake keeps repeating, it is a lesson waiting to be learned. Trust your inner voice. Even if it defies logic, learn to honor the deep knowing within. The more you practice these steps, the more natural discernment becomes, until it guides you instinctively through every challenge. The tests of discernment. As discernment grows, life will test it. These tests are not punishments. They are opportunities to strengthen awareness and prove that discernment is more than theory. Sign. The illusion test. Not everything that shines comes from the light. A perfect job, a charming person, or an easy opportunity may carry hidden costs. Discernment teaches you to look deeper. The doubt test. As your clarity grows, others may dismiss you. Friends, family, or leaders may say you're imagining things, but true discernment does not depend on outside approval. It rests on inner certainty. The temptation test. Before breakthroughs, life often offers distractions disguised as blessings. Discernment separates real alignment from detours. The isolation test. Seeing truth can leave you standing alone, but solitude teaches you to rely on your own guidance until new alignments arrive. The cost of ignoring discernment. Ignoring discernment always carries consequences. It can trap you in cycles of regret, drain your energy, or leave you vulnerable to manipulation. Many people regret trusting someone against their better judgment, only to realize they silenced their own in. Each time you ignore discernment, you weaken your trust in yourself. You begin to doubt your ability to make wise choices and rely too heavily on outside approval. This disconnection breeds confusion and stagnation. But the good news is that discernment can be rebuilt. Every mistake is a chance to sharpen awareness. The key is reflection. Recognize the signs you ignored, learn the lesson, and commit to never silencing your inner guidance again. Discernment as spiritual protection. For me, discernment is more than decision-making. It is spiritual protection. It filters out manipulation, exposes false appearances, and shields you from traps that drain your energy. Developing discernment requires humility, the willingness to admit mistakes, and courage, the strength to face reality even when it is painful. The more you sharpen this inner vision, the more you notice patterns, intentions, and energies hidden beneath the surface. Life becomes clearer, not because it gets easier, but because your eyes are trained to see. Living with discernment. In the end, discernment is not about avoiding mistakes alone. It is about living with clarity, integrity, and purpose. It is about walking your path with confidence, guided not by pressure or fear, but by truth. Discernment is the chosen one's greatest power, because it transforms confusion into clarity, weakness into strength, and deception into wisdom. It protects you when others try to mislead you. It guides you when paths are unclear, and it empowers you to stand strong, even when the world questions your choices. When you walk with discernment, you walk with freedom. You are no longer bound by illusions. You are no longer misled by appearances. You are no longer trapped by cycles of regret. Instead, you are guided by a compass that always points you toward truth. And that is why discernment will always remain the greatest power of a chosen one.